you all are doing well. So today we're going to discuss about the remaining part of Nelson Mandela, the long walk to freedom. In your last offline class, students, we have discussed few points. Let's have a quick review. The first one is twin obligation. In life, every man has twin obligations, that is duties. Obligation to his family, to his parents, his wife and children, and he has an obligation to his people, his community, his country. He also mentioned how each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own natural tendencies and abilities in a civil and humane society. But he stated that in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of his birth and color to fulfill both those duties. A man who tries to fulfill his duties was punished. In the beginning, Mandela did not opt to place his country people above his family, but in making effort to his people, country people, he found that he was prevented. He was stopped from fulfilling his duties towards his family. He soon realized when he began to learn that his boyhood freedom was an illusion. Now, what is illusion, students? Illusion is something that appears to be real but is not real. He, as a student, wanted freedom for himself only. Then later, as a young man, he yearned for the basic and honorable freedom. But then Mandela slowly realized that not only he who was not free, but his brothers and sisters were also not free. Their freedom were restricted, or we can say curtailed. That is when he joined African National Congress, and his hunger for his own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom of his people of his country, his community. Now let's discuss the remaining part of the chapter. It was this desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self respect that animated my life, that transformed a frightened young man into a bold one, that drove a law abiding attorney to become a criminal, that turned a family loving husband into a man without a home, that forced a life loving man to live like a monk. Here, students, Mandela says that now he was labeled as a bold criminal and a man who don't have family, and he lives a life like a monk, sacrificing everything. Now, why he turned out like this? He turned out like this because he wanted freedom for his people, freedom for his community, his country. In this process for freedom, he achieved these objectives. Before that, he was a fearful person, but in this struggle, he became bold. He was law-abiding person, but he was forced to become a criminal. He was a family-loving person, but he sacrificed his family during this struggle and became a monk for the freedom of his people. It was this situation which is responsible for his transformation. I am no more virtuous or self sacrificing than the next man, but I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. Here Mandela says that he has nothing special in him, he has no such unique quality. It was nothing like that he has more sacrificing nature than the next man or the common man. But when he realized his own people were not free, so he could not enjoy his own limited freedom given to him. I knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow mindedness. Now, who is the oppressor and who is the oppressed? So, students, oppressor are those who impose limitation or restriction on someone's freedom. Here, white community people are the oppressors, and the oppressed are the black community people. Oppressed are those whose freedom are curtailed or whose freedoms are restricted. Mandela says that not only the oppressed who are not free from restriction, but those who impose limitation are also not free and they must be liberated because The oppressors are locked behind the bars of prejudice. Prejudice means a strong dislike without any good reason, and narrow mindedness. They are so much stuck into hatred that they need so much no such reason of disliking people. I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom, just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. The oppressed and the oppressors alike are robbed of their humanity. So he says, whosoever takes away the freedom from someone is also not free, and whose freedom is curtailed or restricted, he is definitely not free. So the both individual are not free. They are sailing in the same boat. Both the oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity, as both of them were inhuman. In this story, we have learned that if we take away someone's freedom, then we are not free, but we are the victim of inhumanity. So students, here we come to an end of this story. Hope you have understand both the offline and online classes. Thank you.